Welcome back to another episode of Valley Spotlight. Normally we'd take this week off and run a previous episode, but no, we're working hard for you, the viewer.
Yeah, we're working hard. Can you tell how tired we are?
Yeah.
We're feeling pretty good.
It's the holidays. That's how it goes.
It is, and we have decided to take a few minutes and look back over the past several months that we've been on the air with you guys and pick our favorite stories, the ones that are going to stick with us forever, right, Mike?
Which was very difficult.
It really was.
There's a lot of them, and a lot of them just didn't quite make the cut, but they were fantastic.
And we had a lot of other people that had weighed in. Our staff and our team here, they had their opinions too.
Right. So on this episode, we'll tell you some of the things we liked. I couldn't believe that there was a line around the corner, like people were waiting for concert tickets and they were getting corn. And it's true. And I tried it, and it's fantastic. It was as advertised.
It really was.
So that's one of them.
It really was. And I get to take a look at one of my favorite recipes with Mark Canzonetta. We made a giant steak. It was so huge and so big on the grill, and I just, it was one of my favorite times in downtown Youngstown. And at the very end, he cuts me a piece of, meat, a chunk of fat, and people were like, Lauren, you just ate the fat. I was like, yeah, the fat was even good. That's how much I liked it.
I'm still bitter I missed that.
I know. He gets corn and more corn.
Right. And then Kelly Warren is talking about moving and how to pack your stuff up and get it out of there and some tips to do all that.
Yeah, get yourself organized.
And that's and then we'll get started with this.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I love this one. This is a good one.
This was about another one where I learned something. I didn't believe that people were actually using records again and record players, and I thought to myself, why? The sound is way better now, but that's not the case. And we went to Record Connection in Niles, and he sold me on why the record is making a comeback.
Cassettes were in, compact discs were coming in, and they were squeezing the record out completely.
The year was 1983. Record Connection had just moved to Pine Tree Plaza in Niles, and Jeff Burke was searching for an answer.
Record sales were okay back then. Cassette was on its way, so it was tough going in the beginning.
Then a couple of events changed everything. People were signing up for cable, and they discovered MTV. John Lennon was killed just about the time his album was released, and then Def Leppard's Pyromania finally caught fire.
We could not give that record away, and then all of a sudden it just clicked. Then we couldn't keep it in stock. So that's probably one of the bigger ones.
But eventually, new technology and big box stores started phasing the record out.
If you kind of follow what happened, the chain stores pushed the records out because they took up too many square feet, and it wasn't profitable. But we hung in. We kept selling records. We stayed with the record album.
Now, fast forward 35 years, and the record is back and playing on turntables once again.
I'm probably as surprised as the next guy. I never envisioned the record coming back. It never really went away in this store. We condensed, we kept cutting down, but we always had a few bins full of records here.
It's way more than a few bins now.
Oh my God, thousands and thousands. You're only seeing a small percentage of what's in here. Underneath every one of my cabinets is just stuff full of used records.
The question is why? Why is vinyl in vogue once again? There are a couple of reasons. First, the technology.
They just want the physical product. They want the best sound they can get. You're getting music right now. The needle's trapped in the source. The music is instantaneous. Even your CDs are delayed a little bit.
And second, the people that listen to them enjoy the sound and the feeling that they get.
To a lot of older people, it just reminds them of their youth. This is what we did. There was record stores like this all over the place in the Niles, Warren, Youngstown area. We have people now that visit the store, they bring their kids in, and they said, now this is a record store.
And nowadays, it's the records that keep this store in business. Take Record Store Day, for example. A day every April that celebrates the independent record store and offers exclusive deals. It's always a hit, especially when Jeff had the opportunity to bring in a local legend. Dave Grohl and his Foo Fighters for a one-of-a-kind show.
We're going to play a bunch of songs as fast as we can so we can have a good time here.
He thanked me at least 10 times for putting that thing together, and I'm like blown away, just, you know, shaking my hand, giving me a hug.
Music fans should do the same. If it weren't for the small record stores, the record would not have made the comeback. But how long will this record renaissance continue?
I'm still on the fence, actually. I'm still trying to figure it out, even after 38 years. There's no rhyme or reason.
So for now, Jeff will keep buying and selling albums, and the records will keep spinning in this store. It's how Jeff wants it, and how he thinks it should be done.
We've done it right. You know, we've had fun here. We've had a lot of fun here. We've been straight with the public. You know, we've never gouged. This place has always been really, really good about supporting music. So I always say that the city of Niles, or McKinley Heights, whatever you want to say, deserves a store like Record Connection.
And if you're from that area, you know where Record Connection is, in Niles. And I love when he says that this area deserves a record store. I just think that's so great.
I think it's nice. And I know that we have a lot of friends that when we started talking about the store, they're like, oh yeah, we listen to records all the time. Like, really? We need to start getting on this bandwagon.
That's right.
Get it? Never mind.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
Bandwidth, rock band. All right, what's coming up? Oh, the big piece of meat.
The biggest piece of meat you're ever going to want to see. And Mark Canzonetta, it's on the secret menu at Bistro 1907. If you order it, you will not be disappointed. Tastes so good.
He's going to make it when we come back.
When homes are selling fast, who can ensure you'll get the most money for yours? I'm Barbara Corcoran, and I've managed agents who have sold homes for thousands of dollars over list price. The key is to hire the agent with a smart, aggressive marketing plan. In the Mahoning Valley, no agent spends more marketing dollars and creates demand quite like Kelly Warren. Her marketing attracts hundreds of buyers every month and allows her to offer a buyout plan as well as flexible fees. Go to kellysoldit.com and get top dollar for your home.
No hot water? Call A to Z Dependable Services. Our fully stocked rapid response water heater specialist will get you back in hot water in no time. A to Z is the only call you need to make. Only A to Z.com.
Well, we're changing things up today in the test kitchen because we have moved everything that's fantastic about Bistro 1907.
We're outside, Lauren.
Out to the patio.
I know,
Mark.
what a beautiful day in Youngstown, Ohio.
It doesn't get much better than
I
this.
know,
does
and we're
it,
sitting
my
here
friend?
in historic downtown Youngstown overlooking the square, and we're going to cook some beef because we're in
gonna
summer.
Cook some serious beef. Look at the size
Look at this
of
steak.
this thing.
So this is our 48-ounce tomahawk ribeye steak from Lanning's. It's near Mount Vernon, Ohio, a little bit south of Columbus, and that's 48 ounces, 2 inches thick of tomahawk ribeye steak, and we're going to cook that. So Lauren, I want you to help season that for me. So I'm going to put liberal amount of salt, because when you have a piece of meat 2 inches thick, you have to season it liberally.
So you just
because
keep on going?
You just keep going like this is what you're paid to do for a living.
Gosh, that grill is so hot too.
I know.
Thank you to our friends from Youngstown Propane.
Absolutely, they delivered it this
for,
morning.
Bringing this out for us today, because my goodness, is that baby hot right now.
Yes,
I feel
it is.
on my face.
So now we're going to take this.
Oh, am I good? Is it good enough?
You're good, and I can add a little bit more, and we're just going to put it on the grill. And if you don't hear that noise when you put it on the grill, you're in trouble, because you're going to steam the meat. Because what we want to do is we want to start to caramelize the sugars inside of the beef and the proteins inside of the beef, so it has that great bark when we go to eat it, okay? So this steak on your grill, and this is enough to feed a family of 4. So this could be a luxury at the end of the summer barbecue, or this would be where you're having some great friends over to have a cocktail party, but you want to season that liberally. It's going to be enough to serve 4 people.
That is more than enough to serve 4
So
people.
you can do this cover down, because we want to cook from the top and bottom. So we're going to put the cover down on that. And now we're going to go over and we want to serve that steak with some beautiful mushrooms, because what's not better than steak and mushrooms?
No kidding.
So we have our induction burner, and we're going to put some olive oil down. I'm going to turn that up to high.
Turn it
a little bit of butter.
Oh, I hear it a little bit.
A little bit of sizzle there.
Sizzle.
And it's going to start to sizzle. We're going to add some onions, because we want some onions. And what you have to do with onions, because onions have a lot of sulfur in them, you want to take a little bit of salt with the onions, and it draws out the sulfur, draws out the moisture, and it starts to release them and make them caramelized and both sweet
a
and
little
soft.
bit sweeter, so
exactly.
it like balances out the acid.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're going to add 2 different kinds of mushrooms. We're going to add shiitakes, because I love shiitake mushrooms. They're meaty, they're earthy, they're delicious. And then we're going to add the mushrooms we all grew up
was gonna
with.
say, those
the
I
moonlight
recognize.
mushrooms. Yes,
I
these are the
recognize
moonlight mushrooms we
those.
grew up with. And sometimes you got them in the can at home, and sometimes you got them fresh. It just depended.
Yep.
So now I want to throw down some fresh herbs on this. I love having basil. I love having thyme and rosemary to go with mushrooms. It's such a great
you just leave it
flavor.
in whole like
We're just
that?
going to leave it in whole like that, and it's going to flavor the whole dish. We're going to add some slivered garlic, because I like to add slivered garlic, because that way if my guest doesn't want that garlic going in, they just like the flavor of
just
it.
take it out.
They can take it out and
So you
put
don't
it
have
off to the
bad
side.
breath later.
You don't have bad breath
Right.
later. Okay? And we're
Okay.
just going to start to let these saute down. And you can see they're starting to get happy.
I love
They're
it when
gonna
you
start
say
to-
they start to get happy.
They're starting to get happy.
We're gonna make T-shirts that say
I know.
"Get happy."
Well, you got to take a little bit from the past, and Emeril Lagasse, one of the greatest showmen in Food Network history, he always made things happy
He really
in the
did.
saute pan. So to make this really happy now, we're going to make Cabernet mushrooms. So we're going to take, and if you want to step back just a little bit, and we're going to add about a half a bottle of Cabernet to this. And we're just going to let that Cabernet Sauvignon cook inside of there. And just remember, Lauren, when you're cooking with wine, you want to make sure you're able to drink it. So tell me, how's this Cabernet taste?
I didn't see that one coming. I was like, "Yeah, what about it, Mark? What about it?" Okay, let me test it out. And you guys have some really great house wines
Oh, we have
here.
some great. We have 24 different glasses of wine, bottles of wine you can get by the glass, and at happy hour they're half off Monday through Friday.
Cheers,
Great.
cheers,
So
my friend.
We're
You
going
don't
to let
have
this
any
cook
yet.
and simmer for about a half hour. We're going to let this steak cook for about a half hour. We're going to come back in about 5 minutes. We're going to flip it over so we get those beautiful cross sear marks, or hatch marks as everybody knows them to be, and then we'll be back to finish the dish.
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you. We'll
You're
be right
welcome.
back. That looks dynamite.
Baby, you got some big feet. Where do you get shoes for those feet?
I buy them at Ryers, of course. They have all sizes, even for me. They're always tax-free and located in beautiful downtown Sharon.
Hey, look at this.
Right? The magic of television,
Magic
my
of television. So we've cooked this. We've flipped it 4 times.
4 times.
We've cooked it about 7.5 minutes on each side.
All right.
We're going to bring that up to a beautiful medium rare temperature. If you like it medium well done. I would never cook this steak well done personally, but if that's the way you like it, you bought it. It's your steak.
Exactly. You do what you want.
And then what I've done is I've pre-rested this for 5 minutes, because what happens is when you cook a steak, all the juices get pushed out.
Okay.
Whether it's steak, a pot roast, a piece of pork, or whatever, all the juices are push out from the proteins. So then what you have to do is let it rest for 5 minutes so they go back in. If not, it's going to drizzle all over everywhere.
Okay.
So we've taken these beautiful mushrooms. We're just going to swirl in some butter.
Is that like to finish it? Like
This is
that?
to finish it. We're going to finish it. Usually you finish with salt, pepper, butter. You stir that in. Now we're going to cut our steak. Look at this knife.
I was
Now
gonna
that's
say
a
that,
knife.
that's a gift. I hope that was a gift.
No,
from
no,
somebody.
I bought that
You
myself.
did?
And look at this gorgeous steak.
Oh my goodness, Mark.
Unbelievable. Going right down.
It's
Now you know you're going to have some fat
absolutely
with the ribeye, but that's okay. That's what we like.
want.
That's what we want with that
You have
ribeye.
at least taught me that is what gives it so much flavor.
Yes, and cut those generous slices for your guests so they feel like they're having a luxurious piece of meat. We're going to take some of those beautiful, gorgeous mushrooms and the jus and put it over the top, just like this.
Can you tell I'm getting my fork ready
You're
already?
getting your fork ready. Season with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and let's put a little bit of fresh chive down on that. And Lauren, let me cut you a little piece from the edge right over there.
I would say a little baby piece, but I don't think I want a little baby
There you
piece.
go.
I think I want a
Check that out.
big mama piece.
And tell me how we did. Fantastic, right? Again, you can serve this at your party. You can serve this on your backyard. You can do whatever you want with it. You can also come down to Bistro 1907. It's not on the menu, it's on the secret menu.
Secret menu. Bistro1907.com is where all these recipes are. Cheers to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much,
What
Lauren.
a dynamite
Cheers.
chef.
What a great
What
steak.
a treat. Oh my goodness.
Well, the good news is after you spit out the fat and got to try the steak, it was really good, right?
I think, yeah, it was great. But the fat is what gives it the flavor.
That's right.
So I was just
Marbling.
I was engaging in my environment.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm gonna go with. No, it was so good, and it was just it's fun to be in downtown Youngstown in that atmosphere with
It
Mark.
is. Speaking of so good, wait till you see this story.
This is one of the ones that took me by surprise when I went to tell this story about Carl Nunziato and a lot of his work for veterans and people with disabilities. I had no idea that not only was he a veteran, but he had also lost limbs in fighting for our country. It was something that I didn't know until I got to this story. And Carl, you will be a friend forever, and I'm so thankful to have been able to meet you thanks to Valley Spotlight.
The courthouse is supposed to be a place that treats everyone with equality, but it wasn't always a place that was accessible to everyone.
This level came in straight here. There were two big steps out here. You could see how this wall is. This wall was the level of the prior ramp. It was flat. So there was two major steps going up inside the door. Once you got inside the door, there were three more steps. It was impossible for a wheelchair to get in. A person with crutches would have trouble. But anybody with the wheelchair would have to be carried, the wheelchair would have to be carried into the courthouse.
It was the late 1970s. Carl Nunziato, an experienced lawyer, needed to help a dear friend named Don Baker, but not as a legal counselor. He went to court that morning to help lift his friend's wheelchair up the steps since he was facing divorce after becoming a paraplegic.
I saw a couple of my friends that I knew come by and I said, can you help us carry this wheelchair up the steps? One guy just had back surgery, another guy had hip surgery. They said, we can't do it. Well, we're standing out there. The hearing was at 10 o'clock, it's about 9:45, and there was a couple ladies standing there. They said, we're gonna help you. So the two ladies started to lift the wheelchair. We got up 3 steps. I said, stop, you're gonna kill all of us. This is too heavy. We went back down. We sat at the bottom of the steps, never got into the courtroom. He never got his day in court. He never got to appear before the judge because we couldn't get into the building.
What might seem like a few steps to most was a proverbial mountain, a mountain that needed to be moved. And so Carl and Don decided to move it themselves.
Once we discovered this problem, we started a campaign to have this ramp built, to have a wooden ramp initially built in the courthouse, and then when they did the major remodeling of the courthouse, they actually sunk the floor there.
It was an era before the American with Disabilities Act became law, and Nunziato and a group of motivated Youngstown residents were about to set out on a 15-year journey to make the city accessible for everyone. They called themselves the Barrier-Free Architecture Committee. One of their first projects was to make city streets easier to navigate with something called a curb cut. The year was 1982.
Nobody knew what we were talking about because there didn't exist any. I said, well, it looks like a driveway, but it's even a little less than that. So they said, we have to build a prototype. Down on Front Street, where the mill was, they said you could put one there. Don Baker and I paid for it. It was $280. We paid for the first curb cut, and that's where they put it as a prototype.
As he walks this ramp today, each step is laced with success. Success for a generation of people who have followed him and who might have a story just like his. Major Carl Nunziato was one of the first Army soldiers to go to Vietnam. These photos were taken just hours before he lost both of his feet and part of a leg while he was under enemy fire. He spent 2 years learning to walk again at Walter Reed Hospital.
When a person is severely wounded, the concept is they need compensation to overcome their wounds. And they try to climb mountains and go skating and go rollerboarding, go skiing. My compensation was I got an education and I came back and I applied that not only for my benefit, but for the benefit of the veterans. And they talk about freedom. Think about it. If a person can't get into his courthouse, can't get into his school, can't get into his church, there is no freedom. We made that part happen.
And it's just wonderful to be able to see that story again. And Carl, I will never let this coin go. This little coin that is an honorary chip of all of his work for the Veterans Affairs Association and the Veterans Resource Center. So thank you to Carl and
thanks for all you do.
Thank you for doing everything
Forget
you've
the
done.
chip. Thanks for everything
and that
you
too.
do.
Yes.
Well done. All right, when we come back, if you are in the process of moving, you'll want some extra tips.
Yes, you do. And these are good ones. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Kelly Warren breaks it down, puts it in a box. She makes it super neat, very easy. Coming up next. Well, anybody that knows me knows I love getting organized, Cal. I love packing boxes. I'm really good at labeling things and making sure that everything is right where we need it. I am not that way. That is why you are here to help us today. Talking about moving with Kelly Warren from Kelly Warren Associates. How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am good because this whole thing can
boxes.
be very
We're moving. Today we're moving.
stressful for people.
It can be. So we've got some tips and some pointers for you to take the stress out of it.
Oh.
First is, especially if you're like us and you're not so organized, I call my life organized chaos. Make a list.
I can't call what I call my life on TV, but nonetheless,
A list. You need a game plan. Your first couple of steps, those early days out when your home is under contract or when you're under contract to purchase a home, and you've got that 45 to 60 day window ahead of you, purge, throw it away, give it away, sell it. Anything you do not want to keep in your life, don't move it with you. Get rid of it now.
Okay.
Do a spring cleaning. Anything that you are moving, you're leaving the other house behind, start cleaning it and getting it ready to be left. So those are some things to think of. And then game plan. Start getting your supplies together. You need packing tape. You need boxes.
You need packing tape. You need boxes. Honestly, I don't have. Like if I started to move, I would be like, where do I get these boxes?
Where do you get boxes? You can buy them. Places sell them. The moving companies and the local stores sell them. You can order some Amazon and get them delivered right to your door.
Right.
And then you have more stuff that you have to pack. Grocery stores, different places like that will give you their boxes. They'll be broken down like this, and then you can just bring them home and tape them together and fold them up. So boxes you can get taken care of pretty easy. You need some newspaper to wrap up your valuables.
Right.
You need markers. You got to have these boxes marked because when you carry them into the house, you need to know where they're going. And even what's in them.
Yeah, because then you're not just stacking them up again and then having to reevaluate where they're going.
Right.
I would think the first night when you're staying in a new place, you know, keeping track of everything that you need for that first minute that you're there was something we need to think about.
So moving day, game day.
Yeah, game day.
You need to know who is moving you. You need your helpers. You need to be prepared for that. You need a couple of boxes. Your basically your suitcase, your go bag.
Yeah,
with your contact case, your toothbrush, your clothes for the night, and then you need a box or two of house stuff. You're going to need toilet paper. You're going to need light bulbs. You're going to need maybe dish soap, and you're going to need supplies and food for that day for you and your helpers. You're not going to have time to run out and go get dinner or cook something when you've got boxes coming in over and over.
That's the truth.
So, and then even inside the home, a game plan of, hey, this goes in that bedroom, this goes there, who's Emmy, where's her stuff go?
She got a little tiny box.
Right.
Just a little one. Kelly, good advice for people that are going to be moving. This is, of course, a huge undertaking, and your team helps make it a lot easier. How do people get hold of you?
We do. They can call us at 330-717-2689 or online at kellysoldit.com.
All right, Cal, I'm going to get back to unpacking.
It's very heavy.
This is real heavy.
I firmly believe that people don't move because they hated moving into their house the first time.
I was just going to say, the only reason I'm not going to sell my house is because I don't like the moving.
Yeah, thank
goodness. A lot
goodness
of anxiety, and she makes it look so much easier. So
thank you. All right, you ready for this?
I certainly am. This is one of those you came back from the story like this is so good.
Corn on the cob here in Northeast Ohio. Big deal in the summertime. Not a big a deal as you think if you go to the Lutz Farm, not too far from here in Lordstown. It is crazy. People buy corn for the entire year. I got to visit with the people standing in line and find out why their corn is so good.
I heard this corn is excellent.
It's sweet and the ears are big and my family loves it.
The taste.
Yeah?
Yes, it's the taste.
Is it sweet? Is it?
Sweet. Yes, it's good. It's worth standing in line.
You are in a line.
Yes, I am.
To buy corn.
To buy corn.
We've done it our whole lives.
Yeah.
All of our lives.
It's a tradition.
And this is my first time here, and I am amazed at all the corn and all the people.
That's the first thing you'll notice when you pull into Lutz Farms, all the people.
Just kept picking up, and then there's a couple of years that it just got overwhelming, and then so we tooled up with bigger equipment to pick it.
Lines of people, close to 100 on this day. So many they park in the fields, and they need flagmen to keep the traffic moving.
I've had them as far as Cleveland, Akron, and Youngstown and around, yeah.
So, in Harvey's opinion, what makes this farm and this corn better than the others? He says they wait until it's perfectly ripe to sell it.
But we don't start up early because we're grain farming as well, so we just do this to keep our help busy in the month of August.
And believe me, they are busy. The doors open promptly at 9 a.m. and the crowd hustles in. Inside, there are 10 big hay wagons with about 300 dozen ears of corn on each. For $4, grab 14 at a time. He calls it a dumb farmer's dozen.
What we do is, it's a way of saying, you know, we want to guarantee you 12 at least good ones. So if you miss one, oh well, you got it covered.
And some of these people will grab 20 dozen at a time.
I like to put it in my freezer for all winter long.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
We have a cutter, then a scraper, and then after it's all done, we bag it, and it can last 2 to 3 years.
Well, they all love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're the hero when you bring it.
Yes, I am.
How many can you eat in one sitting?
Maybe about 3 or 4 ears.
Is that a good idea?
Oh yeah, it is. That's how good it is.
Thanksgiving? Yeah. Let me tell you, everybody's wanting that corn bowl.
That's right.
It
Thanksgiving
is the
time,
best.
Christmas, yes.
These corn connoisseurs know what they're doing. Me, not so much. So Harvey volunteered to help.
You always go for size. Yeah, that's a little bigger.
So a wide one is better.
Usually.
And then should I do that?
No, you don't have to, as long as you can get it in your bag. But see, that's a little bit younger. Now, some people would eat that, some would not. But that's a little younger. I just toss it. That's a good keeper.
How do you know?
I picked 30 acres by hand for years. I know.
Are you keeping count?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. So what are you looking for? Give me one more tip.
I'll just keep looking like this.
Yeah? Big fat ones are the ones you want.
Fat and dark silks. Size matters in this situation.
I understand. There's a lot of corn jokes you could go with, I bet.
And if the size of the crowd has anything to say about it, they'll be back, and so will I.
All right, one more. For good measure.
All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I can't thank you enough.
Oh yeah, no, it's been fun.
Awesome job.
Hope you learned something.
I learned a lot.
If not these people,
And as we were watching that, Lauren brought up a very good point. People who they freeze the corn.
Yeah, they do.
Then they cut it off. It's in the bowl. It's all ready to go. They add the butter, heat it up, and they're good. They're having it for their holiday meals.
I'm a little jealous.
I am
we
too.
were invited to any of those holiday meals.
I'll be back, Lutz Farm. I'll be back, but I'm not sitting in line. I'm going to try to sneak in.
That's what he typically does.
The media does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it for this week. The good news is we have a brand new show for next week.
We certainly do. We've got a lot of new things coming in this new year. So thanks for being with us. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it always.
Yeah, thanks again. ValleySpotlight.com is the website you need to go to.
Or you can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, Roku, and soon to be on Apple TV.
That's what we do. We evolve.
Who knew?
Have a good day, everybody.